Hey folks, so I had built this keyboard type speed that I just recently posted, and this is a pretty good keyboard sound and visual. So if I click on this, yeah, pretty good. So now I have this basic site created, and with basic features like time, caret option, and word options, etc. I'm thinking what more can I add. So I was trying to couple of new tools. One of them is opencode, which is open source alternative to Claude Code. It has 120k stars, and it has been doing pretty good. It has pretty generous free tier. Similarly, another one is Z. So Z is a open source alternative cursor. This also is pretty famous. This has around 80k stars on GitHub. Both of them are open source, so obviously they have pretty generous free tiers. And I am I have kind of exhausted my Claude subscription, so I was trying these out of necessity. But I think this should be good. Like a lot of teams, I have heard a couple of friends using these in their day-to-day coding, because you don't always need complex models like Codex or Claude or Sonnet, Opus, etc. So for the general use cases, they prefer using free tools, or rather affordable tools. So what I did was I fired opencode, and I was brainstorming with it that what more features could I add for the aesthetic, satisfying keyboard type speed. Brainstorm with me. It gave me couple of good suggestions. I like the visual enhancements, all of them. Particle burst effects on correct keystrokes, screen share on errors, live word per minute that morphs smoothly as you type, confetti and gradient background tied to performance. I like all of them. I think that can be a good addition, since the whole idea here is to be a bit more aesthetic and pleasing on the website, because obviously it's like it's so satisfying. Like if you go to the website and you don't do anything, you just type. I think it's pretty good, and the library is solid. If you type on different buttons, it gives different sounds, which is pretty interesting. So uh, yeah, so it has color options as well. I simply have a light mode, dark mode option. So now, my idea was, I said I like the visual enhancements one. So I also read through the suggestions, and I said session history with graphs locally using cookies is also something we can do in future, because we don't want to go for much of a data tracking, or make the app complicated, because it's a simple front end right now. So I said add them all to docs folder with an MD file for the future. But the feature I want to implement today is the X leaderboard. So I had this idea where we prompt the user for their X username when they first come to the site, because that's where I'm trying to push this, or market it kind of. I don't. It's nothing. I wouldn't get nothing monetary, or benefits out of it, but it's just self branding, or kind of sharing what I'm building. And I think I like the project, and a couple of my friends really like the project. I have one who uses just types on it daily. So similarly, I maybe if we can reach more people, why not? So I just said why don't we add a leaderboard with X username, where user first visits the site, we prompt them for the username, and it's optional. So obviously someone coming from someone else, if not comfortable, you can have a random jumbled word name. And yeah, it asked me some questions to clarify, which is pretty good. That before I write that, I had a question about the leaderboard, and these are the 4 questions. So what type, do you want it to be local and random word entries, or do you want to be global? Because we do definitely want it to be global, because that's why we are taking the X usernames, that that people can beat each other. uh, User flow, do you want to store it, etc. I said yeah, local storage is fine. What gets stored? So obviously for the leaderboard, we need username, word per minute. We can also store accuracy, mode, and timestamp, because all of those are simple data. We are not storing anything like name, so I think that's fine. And yeah, top 5 should be good to start with. And there's also a long term plan where we might, or we kind of can add slow typing, because again if you go to the site, uh, the more slowly you type, the better it is. Just look at it. So yeah, that's something on my mind. But I wanted to, I know that we can't do this locally. So I've asked that, what are the options, what are the easiest options, and it has given me these four broadly: Firebase, Firestore, which is simple. You sign up your, you create an app on Google, Firebase, and you use Firestore storage to configure. But that's still in a way clunky, so I'm not sure if I would go with that. Supabase is obviously Firebase alternative or open source alternative, so that's also a good option. But I'm not sure about the bottom two. So what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to brainstorm the ideas and implementing this along with you in this video, where I will try to talk more about my thought process and what I'm thinking, how I'm approaching the project. Uh, just because I wanted to try this. So JSON bin IO, that's not something I've heard. So let's just see what that means. JSON bin IO is simple and robust JSON storage solution. Simple thing for me to check would be pricing. Oh, interesting. This has plans in INR, which is quite rare. So this might be, targeted for Indian audience, something like that. It says I have 10,000 requests in free plan. JSON size is up to 100 KB. So this might be a problem because our leaderboard, once it grows, it might grow out of 100 KB, and we don't want to change the storage after that. So maybe a safer option would be to go with Firebase. I don't know, but let's also see what's the last one. So it says 100 API call per month, which is good, but the storage might not be enough. Let's try Convex as well. The backend platform that keeps your app in sync. Interesting. It has npm installation, so it's, I think, it very node specific. If you can check the GitHub, yeah, it's open source reactive database for app developers. It has 10k stars, which is pretty good. But again, pricing. What freemium do they have? Okay, file storage, tick. Storage is 0.5 GB, so this is pretty generous. Data storage, it's compatible with all of them. Our current app is a simple, so here's the code. This is the ZIDE, and if I can go to the package JSON here, yeah, it's just a simple React app which wraps the awesome library that Mr. Himanshu on X, random stranger, has built, the keyboard library, and I built this on top of it. So I think we can go with Convex, because why not? I have definitely created a lot of projects with Supabase and Firebase, but why don't we go with Convex? So yeah, let's try it. I think we can go with Convex. Any issues in 100 entries or so? Compare it with Firebase. So I just want to make sure that we are making a right decision, at least for the next 12 months, because I don't want to keep updating the app again and again. Even if this is a side project, that's definitely something we think of, that if this blows up, because that's that if is very big hope for everyone who creates every project that we build. So I always try to make sure that at least some scale of virality is possible in the application in the first place. So this has a simple, it's very good in terms of comparing, because it's always giving output in terms of table, which is pretty good, pretty simple to read, which is not something I've seen with a lot of tools, even Cloud Code. So I'm not sure if I'm the only one, but I think I like this responses as tables, pretty simple to read. So setup is slightly easier in Convex. Okay. Real time, we don't need real time database, so that's not an issue. Authentication is also not required as of now. So for 100 issues, it says no, no issues at all. Both are overkill for this scale. You're fine. So that's a that's a dig on me, but yeah, okay. Convex is newer, smaller community than Firebase, fewer stragglers. I think that's fine because we don't have any issues as such. Want me to write a comprehensive plan to docs which are now in 4 sections? Yeah, why not? So let me do one thing. I'll change the agent type from plan to build, and I'll say yes, add it, and let's create another convex MD to set it up and get started on the leaderboard. While this loads, I'll also show a couple of you know features here. So this is actually a terminal. Obviously, I am in a normal Mac terminal on my Mac, and this has pretty detailed UI. So you can see I can switch sessions, models. I can even open an editor, rename the session. A lot of features. There are obviously support for skills and MCPs, which I haven't set up yet because I've just installed this before recording this very video. And this has processed, I think, the MD file. Yeah, it has added the features MD file. We can go back to Z to check it out. I always like this docs folder in any of my projects. That's a simple practice I've started doing. That someone taught me that you should always have a docs folder nowadays because of AI. And it's pretty cool that even if you create a docs folder, you don't explicitly ask AI to do anything. It will go to the folder and add stuff for you, which might make the folder clunky. So it's also important to keep it clean, but it helps. It helps in keeping track of things that are done. It helps in creating the milestones, which is I'm something I'm very fond of. That you break down the steps. So as you can see, step 1, step 2, blah blah blah. Step 5 is we connect the convex provider, then we use the username prompt. So from the very start to the very end, with code snippets, I think this code is a little bit extensive, but with smaller code snippets, it's very easy for us to break down tasks into milestones and simply track it with help of AI. If we don't do this, the downside is we might get stuck somewhere and there might not be a checkpoint for us. So I really like this way of working where we add a step-by-step guide or a milestone guide. You can always use these keywords: step-by-step, milestones, or simply phase, in phases, and that simply creates a checklist or checkpoints for us. That out of the 6 checkpoints or phases, let's say worst case scenario, someone something stucks or you need to revert, then you don't need to revert all the way to the 0 and start from scratch, but you can revert to the last milestone and move on to the next one one by one. So now that it has added features MD and convex MD, I'll just say yes, we are ready. Let's implement convex. So it has given me ready to implement the leaderboard whenever we want. Just run npx convex dev. So I'll check what this is about. I think this might be for setting up convex. Yeah, it's installing. So I think we can wait for it to process. While it does that, we can go over to the internet and check. Oh, I think on the homepage itself it said npm install convex. So I think that's the setting up. Yeah, this one. So yeah, let's see where it goes. Oh, it has already moved forward. So it has installed, it has initialized it. Okay, great. And it is right now configuring a new one. Cannot prompt for input in order to terminals. Welcome to convex. Would like to log into your account. Okay. The convex CLI needs interactive login. Let me help you for files first. Then you'll need to do npx. Okay, I'll need to do this manually. Great. So while it's doing this, why don't we start the process of npx convex def. Great. So it says I don't have a account. Yeah, you can create definitely. Devices name, yeah, fine. Yep. So I'll just maybe, yeah, simply log in from my Google account. Confirm this code is shown on your device. I think it is fine. Do you agree to confirm? Yes. Yes, same name. USS is fine. Oh, we have some errors. These are TypeScript errors, okay. Okay, I think we'll need to wait. This has already completed. Why is it giving error? We might not have installed it properly, maybe. Let me try again. Oops, it still gives errors. It's specifically for convex server. Maybe do we need to install it first? It's still giving the same error, so maybe we can go to the Z IDE and check the errors. So leaderboard TS. I don't see error here, which is weird. Let me just give the same to opencode. Facing this error on npx convex def. Okay, ts config was not proper, I think. Again, we do have some options here for the models. So even I'm using this for the very first time. I'm not sure. A friend of mine told me that GLM is a model they use, but I don't see that option as of now. So I'll need to configure that later. But right now I'm using the default option that it gave, which is called Big Pickle apparently. So let's see where we go with this. It's adding some configurations to tsconfig. Which is a choice, by the way. TypeScript is something I believe I'm always on the TypeScript side of the debate, because it makes linting and finding errors way before they go into production. So I think that's good. Convex is working now. Okay, I think okay. It said, oh no, it shouldn't go inside because it might not have the permission. It says permission. Okay, create. It said it needs the interactivity, it can't create interactive CLI. I don't know how it went forward, but yeah, let's see if this does it, then well and good. Now let me create a convex client and integrate everything. Okay. It's pretty slow, I would say, compared to Cloud Code. But hey, you are getting it for free, so I think that's the least of your problems if you want to use something. And oh, it's interesting. I just saw the right hand side of it, and it says the tokens used and the percentage usage. I'm not sure what would happen once it goes to 100, but interesting. It says open code includes free models, so you can start immediately. Connect with 75. Okay, so it's basically like a open source alternative for Cloud where you can connect your API keys. So ideally, how they would expect you to use it is connecting your API keys for you know different models apparently. So open code, okay, they also have their own model for low subscription cost. Maybe we can try that later. Okay, connect border. I'll explore that later. So while this does that, why don't we go back and do a typing test for just 15 minutes? Sorry, seconds. Let's go. Cool. I think it's this is not at all my typing speed. It for 15 seconds I think the speed of yours gets increased by at least 20 to 30 points because my normal speed is I think around somewhere around 60 70 words per minute, which is I think is good enough for coding, but I want to improve. So this is pretty cool for me as well, that if I have leaderboard, that this will be definitely something I'll compete myself with, to stay on the top, like monkey type. I use monkey type as of now, which is my go-to site to just do a quick typing test. And the one thing that comes to my mind when I go to monkey type is where I was when I didn't know. I was not, obviously I was not always able to type this quickly. And when I was in an internship, I tried to learn how to use touch typing, which is basically you put your fingers on F and J, left on F and right on J, index fingers, and then you ideally type that way. But that didn't quite work for me. I think a simple advice I would give anyone who's trying to type faster would be that you should be able to type without looking at the keyboard. So no matter what laptop you have, no matter what keyboard you have, you stick to one layout and you try to remember the whole keyboard layout. It's like a muscle memory for your fingers that as of now, if I want to type, I don't need to find that key on the keyboard. My finger automatically goes to the key, the place where the key is, kind of the coordinates in CSS. So a very easy way to learn or quickly learn, increase your typing speed is don't look at the keyboard. Simple tip: try to type as if you know where the keys are. You anticipate that the next letter, your brain anticipates where it is and just clicks on it automatically. So that also includes like you code when your keyboard is not visible. Don't look at it, or maybe do it in a light, uh, not a great lightning environment or something like that, in dark. But the whole idea is to not look at the keyboard, and that works pretty well, generally. Okay, so this has built something, and it says the dev server is running. So let me quickly check what it did. I don't know how it sets up convex because I just have the login on my terminal. I have not created any sort of app. So back on the browser, if we go to convex, do we need to log in? While it's processing, let's try logging in. Oh, I'm already logged in, and oh, it has created a product, apparently a project from my terminal. which is pretty cool. I didn't need to visit the site at all. Pretty cool. And it has created a leaderboard table apparently. Okay, it also has created functions. Awesome. So I'm looking at this for the very first time, the convex dashboard. This looks pretty good. I think for again for what it's worth, comparing it to Supabase and Firebase, I think this is a pretty good start. So let's see where we end up. Okay, the app is running. Let me verify the build works. Okay, the build worked. Leaderboard is now implemented. Here's what we added. Okay, this has added some files, database schema, query and mutation functions, first visit username model. Okay, interesting. And setup guide. Okay. Features on first visit, modal prompts for username. After completion of test, submitted to leaderboard button appears. Leaderboard shows top 10 scores. Scores stored globally in convex persists across users. The dev server is running on 5173. So let's try it. And it says to deploy to production later, you'll need to run npx convex deploy. Okay. Let's try it on localhost first. Okay, it did ask me for my username, and it's Karthik36. Save name, and we'll try this. I don't know what I'm typing, but 74 is not bad. I think there's some UI breaking which I will need to fix, but okay. No scores yet, be the first. Shouldn't this say submit for leaderboard? Oh, here it is, submit to leaderboard. Okay. Once I click this, I see my name. Cool. If I refresh it, I don't see it. Oh, okay, it's visible here. Good start. I'll quickly add a couple of features to this to push it to production. One is obviously the UI is very bad. The black translucent modal for high score or on completion of typing is not readable. Can we change text to opposite color of box? Box is dark, text should be white, and vice versa. I think that's a silly prompt, but okay. Second is we want to submit the score to leaderboard automatically if it is better than the 10th score on the leaderboard, which is simple logic, because if it's better than at least one visible on leaderboard, we need to add it to convex. Add it to convex with x username or anonymous label. And final thing is third one, since leaderboard shows x usernames, have a link to the same, like x.com/username, so that people can visit each other's profile, which can be a good thing. Also, can we make leaderboard as a page rather than a modal? Because that's if we are highlighting that particular part of the product, I think we should have it as a page. Good thing about coding with AI is you don't need to spell it spell everything correctly. You can just type something and it will understand. A bad thing or the bad side of the same is you don't improve your vocabulary, which is why you should read books. So I read a lot of books as well. I'm trying to become an avid reader, which I'm not at all right now. So yeah, if you're watching this, you should definitely start reading books. My quick suggestion would be to start with any genre or any topic that you like. May that be business, may that be fiction, novels, may that be startups. A go-to suggestion for mine is of mine is Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. That's a book I love. Other books I like are Atomic Habits or Psychology of Money. Those are all go-to books, and I think for the books at least, the case is that if a book is famous, you should definitely read it, because generally those are not the ones that disappoint. So yeah, that's something we can talk about later. Oh, it's implementing React router DOM. Interesting. For the routing, I didn't know that all of it was just one page right now. It was okay. I think this is good, but we can make this better. In the light mode, we don't really see the edges. Definitely can work on theming next time. I made a mistake. I need to import use effect from React, not React or DOM, which is a very silly mistake. But okay, it assesses that it made it mistake, in the first place. So that's 2026 for you. If this was a human back, 2 years back, we would have scratched our brains and changed 10 things, then realized that it was apparently the use effect wrong, input. So it's pretty cool that it can assess that on its own quickly. Obviously it's with help of linters and lots of tools that humans already use, but not all of us started by using linters. It's only after a point you understand that linting is must in a project. Code formatting, even for that matter, is important. And all of those best practices built by humans around the coding standards is exactly what makes AI coding so much easy and so much uh, scalable right now. If we didn't have that, I don't think we could have got here, AI agent coding on our behalf. Okay, so this has added a leaderboard link to the button, and now it's adding result TSX, fixing the colors and auto submit. While it does the same, why don't we go to the convex? Oh, it has a live dashboard, which is good. If I go to data, I can see one entry with a unique ID, accuracy is 99.5, mode is common, time limit is 30, username is Karthik, and word count is 74. Now, what happens if I go again on 15 seconds? This is what we'll check, so that definitely I want myself on the board, on both the leaderboards, all the leaderboards rather. Just kidding, but I want to test that it also captures time limit and accuracy and everything perfectly, and I don't need to re-enter my username if I've added that once, ideally. So let's see. There was some error. I need to make sure I provide a valid path. Now let's build to see if there are any issues. Cool. That's again best practice most of the humans follow. Use client was ignored. Okay, build is successful. Okay, now let's deploy the convex function and test the app. Cool. So it's deploying it on dev environment, I think. Yeah. Now let's start the dev server and test it. Okay, again 5173 Done all changes implemented, fixed X-links, leaderboard. Devs are running, go to the leaderboard. Okay, let's see. Sorry, this is not 5173. Oh, we had another tab. Cool. If you click on leaderboard, cool, this gets the leaderboard. Now let's try. Oh, but there's no light mode, dark mode option, which is weird. But I think it's fine. Let's try once, for the final thing. Let's try a 15-second typing, and let's see if it tracks correctly. As you can see, I'm not looking at my keyboard. I'm just looking at the keys I need to type, or the letters I need to type. So that's the ideal way. Okay, I did show up. This is clickable, this is cool, but I think this UI is still not good, which we'll update in a minute. But if I click on leaderboard again, if I go to 15 seconds, yeah, here we are. So yeah, go and beat my score there. Make sure you follow me on X as well. Cool, so we'll deploy this, and yeah, here we are. So yeah, thank you. Hope you learned something.